it's Paige Browning. It's Tuesday. This is Seattle Now. Maybe this sounds familiar. Your smartphone breaks, but it's going to cost way too much for the manufacturer to repair it. So you buy a new one, even though you don't really want to. Coming up, we'll talk about Washington's right to repair law and what that means for extending the life of your device and reducing waste. But first, let's get you caught up. San Juan County's 32-hour workweek pilot program is over. That's because they say the experiment was so successful, it's here to stay. The county found that in 2 years, they've saved about $2 million in salaries, have seen an increase in job applications, and productivity has not significantly decreased. The county says the 32-hour work week is still a work in progress, and they'll be working on improving things like balancing employee schedules and communicating with the public about the availability of services. Turning to the legislature, a bill under debate would require electric companies to offer monthly bill assistance to low-income households. There's a hearing today where you can give public comment at 4 p.m. These companies are already required to reduce energy burdens under the 2019 Clean Energy Transformation Act. This bill would lessen the requirements for smaller electric companies. And night skiers, our time is now. The Summit at Snoqualmie and Stevens Pass Ski Resort just finished their first weekend of fully open night skiing. Snoqualmie still claims to have the most night skiing terrain anywhere in the U.S. On the dates offered this season, the lit-up chairs will run as late as 10 p.m. Check back for more headlines on tonight's episode of Seattle Now. There's a new law in Washington giving people the right to repair their cell phones, computers, and appliances. The goal is to reduce spending and waste by giving people the tools and knowledge to fix their devices instead of replacing them. Starting this year, manufacturers must provide Washington repair shops with the parts, tools, and instructions to fix their digital electronics. The law also prevents companies from using parts that essentially block or prevent repairs. That's been a problem for repairmen like Savash Popal.
The phone knows that this isn't the part that I originally had. And so they use this system to interfere with functionality of those parts.
He's the general manager at the local shop Jet City Device Repair. But he's skeptical the new law will work as intended.
In the past, when we've seen success stories with the laws, we haven't seen like a very quick acceptance from Apple. In Europe, they passed all these laws for rights of repair, but some of the functionality blocking still exists.
Here's a number to sit with. In Washington, people throw away thousands of phones every day. Every day. To combat this problem, King County's Adrian Tan helps organize repair workshops in the region, and he supported the bill that eventually became the state's right to repair law, and says now that it's in place, people need to use it. And Adrian is here right now. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So I wanted to ask you really quickly first, what do you think of my old phones?
They're magnificent devices. They can do so much compared to what I grew up with, but they do look a little...
They're a little beat up,
battered.
huh? They've got some shatters there. Fixable?
I think it's definitely worthwhile going down to a repair shop and asking them.
So that leads me to this new law. Tell me about the new law. What is changing for people in Washington state?
So there's actually two laws.
Okay.
And they're both right to repair laws. One is about electric devices, covering both phones, computers, home appliances, as well as one covering mobility devices such as wheelchairs and mobility scooters. For both of them, what it actually does is it requires manufacturers of these products to provide parts, information, and access to the tools. This is something that has been prohibited by some companies for a long time. So it's just about making it more accessible.
How is this likely to show up for, the average person in Seattle? I'm thinking smartphones will be a big one.
Yeah, it is expensive to get certain types of products repaired. Mm-hmm. And part of that is because they've been controlled by licensed repair businesses or manufacturers. Mm-hmm. What this does is it opens up the market for independent repair businesses as well as the owners yourself. If you're someone who's good at tinkering with things and interested in knowing how to repair something, there's a lot of things you can do at home. There are products that have a lot of value that could easily be repaired. Typically your higher end phones, washing machines, dryers, lawnmowers, and things like that. And if you're able to access that getting repaired cheaper and more locations, that will help people save money because then they don't have to buy a new device. And it will also create a market for more items that are secondhand, reused, and lower the price for everyone else. Similarly to electronic appliances, we expect to see that users of mobility devices, wheelchairs, manual and powered mobility scooters, will also get better access to repairing their equipment, as well as probably be cheaper. They might even be able to do it themselves.
I see. And you push for this law in part to reduce electronic waste. How big a problem is e-waste in King County?
It's a major problem, considering that about almost 9,000 tons each year of electronic waste end up in our landfill. That is a lot.
That's a lot. I mean, one phone doesn't weigh all that much. I'm thinking of how that amounts to 9,000 tons.
Yes. And one thing is the quantity, but when you look at the resources that are put into this, there are metals, there's a lot of valuable elements in these products that could be recovered. Rare earths and minerals are a thing that we will need more of to power our transition to a greener, low-carbon economy.
Yeah, we have these precious rare earth minerals and other products in the device, and they're just ending up in the landfill.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a major issue that we have both at our transfer stations and landfills are rechargeable batteries. Because if they get hit or impacted in some ways, they could result in a fire. And we are seeing fires at our transfer stations.
Companies like Microsoft and Google specifically actually came out in support of it, which kind of surprises me. What is in it for companies that produce electronics?
You will notice some of the leading companies have ambitions for sustainability, for climate action, and for the circular economy. So the circular economy is this concept where we want to try and reuse items as much as possible, keep the materials and products in our economy, providing value for as many people as possible for as long as possible. But I also think on a longer term, they need access to some of the same materials for future products. And again, back to the rare materials, it would be better if we could create a cycle instead of continuously trying to extract it from reasons that some areas around the world don't have the best extraction practices.
As we heard earlier, there is some skepticism that companies are going to fully comply with this law. What concerns do you have about that?
The law requires the state agency to ensure enforcement of it. So if there are any cases of companies, manufacturers that do not provide those information, tools, spare parts, then they should reach out to the state.
Why wouldn't a company comply?
I always give the benefit of doubt. Sometimes companies don't know. The law isn't a federal law. It only is in certain states, so they might not be aware of what's going on. Companies might need also some time to ensure that they have the means of providing the right information and tools in a reasonable, effective way. And that takes time to adjust. But I'm optimistic that this shows a shift on how we can deal with repair and do it in a much more easier, convenient way for the consumers with the help of manufacturers.
But as you've said, people have to use the right to repair to make this worthwhile. Critics of this law have said company reputations could be harmed if the repairs are not done correctly. And they've also said it could potentially open people up to security and privacy risks. What do you say to those concerns?
Those are valid concerns. The FTC had looked into a lot of these concerns to see, is there actual data behind it? There are certain provisions in the law that ensure liability is reasonable, but the things that have been blown up have not shown to be actually backed by actual data.
We're not seeing a significant number of cases that are someone's security becomes at risk.
No. For example, we haven't been seeing any differences from the independent repair business compared to the licensed repair business.
I see. Whether you go to Apple or you break, I fix here on the Ave, they're not seeing a difference.
We haven't been able to see any differences there. There are definitely concerns, and you have to follow protocols, but that's not because of right to repair.
Anything else that you want to add? Anything people should know about right to repair?
I have products that I really appreciate. Yes, the newer products are newer, they look sleeker, they're fancier, they might be smaller, but often I actually prefer the one I have right now. Mm-hmm. And I would actually prefer that I could just continue using that. My old iPod, I don't need anything new. Mm-hmm.
And it costs you a lot of money to get a new one.
Exactly. So it actually has more value for me personally to be able to maintain the items that I do already have and own. On relation to how companies perceive it, if a product has a long life, is something that they know the company will help you prolong its life, I think you also build a better respect and maybe even loyalty to that company because you know that they're on your side and just trying to help you out.
They're going to take care of the device and you know you're getting something quality that can last.
Exactly.
Adrian Tan is Policy and Market Development Manager with King County's Recycling and Environmental Services. Thanks so much for coming in.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to Seattle Now, and thanks to our generous donors for their support. You can always help us out by clicking the donate link in the show notes and by following, rating, and reviewing the show on your podcast app. Today's episode was produced by Anna Marie Yanni and Andy Hurst. It was edited by Caroline Chamberlain Gomez. Our production team also includes Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers, Vaughn Jones, and Patricia Murphy. Greg Kramer does the theme music. Seattle Now and KUOW Public Radio are members of the NPR network. I'm Paige Browning. See you tonight for Evening Headlines.